My name is Jim Thomas, and welcome to the Fitness Management Update. Our topic today is how to eliminate staff turnover, improve membership sales, and how to really develop long-term staff in your health club, your fitness center, or your gym. One of the things that we find, we do a lot of on-site sales training with clients. We do a lot of webinar sales training. And one of the things when we come into this with a lot of folks, we'll have staff that have been there for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, longer in some cases. They don't know how to take a telephone inquiry properly. They don't know how to give a price presentation. They don't know how to overcome objections. I mean, it's amazing how much people don't know. And this is, the big reason that we have staff turnover. And it's one of the big reasons I think that a lot of managers, a lot of owners, get frustrated is because they have these challenges. And what we want to suggest here is that, you want to have a system in place, to effectively, onboard, if you will, these new hires. So they come in, not only are they effective at what they do, but you have them long term, and you allow your management and staff to really focus on new sales and new member production. Okay, I think the famous quote by Zig Ziglar, it was the only thing that's worse than training your staff and having them leave is not training them and having them stay. And certainly, we'd rather get them trained up. And if we do that, one of the things that you'll get more often than not that really you'll never recruit for the most part is loyalty. Okay, so let's jump into a system for this and how you can effectively do this to develop long-term staff. I know when I owned my clubs, we actually reduced our turnover. Other than what we decided to have, we really didn't have much turnover. Okay, and it was one of the things that allowed us to maintain that consistency in sales production. So let's talk about a system on how you want to do this. Now, depending on how many clubs you have, if you have 4, 5, 6 clubs, you might consider doing this every month. If you have one club, maybe you're doing it once a quarter. But let's just say, for the sake of this conversation here today, that you're going to conduct a new hire training class every couple months. And this is not going to be in the traditional sense of training. Let me tell you what we're talking about here. And so what we're talking about is this would really be a full court press to get people to attend this training. And if anybody would like it, you're welcome to, you can email me direct at jthomas@fmconsulting.net, and I'll be happy to send over to you our recruiting plan of action of all the different things that you can do, to get in front of people that, are looking for opportunities, in the fitness industry. So you want to promote this anywhere and everywhere that you can that you're hiring. You're hiring, in this case, say it's for membership sales and maybe some personal training, but you are hiring right now, and you're going to be conducting a 4-day training class. Okay, and what you're looking to do, give yourself enough time on this. Generally we're starting out about 30 days in advance is normally about what it is. But in an ideal world, we always like to have about 10 to 12 people in the room to start training. Okay, and these could be some people that attended prior training classes, could be new folks that are coming in, whatever it is. But 10 to 12 people. There's no limit on it, but the more you have, the better that's going to be for you. Okay, now the folks that you're bringing in for this, okay, these candidates that are invited to your training, they're not being hired, at least not yet. Okay, but what they are, they're paid a minimum wage to simply attend the training. Okay, so you would just carve this little piece out, this staff development, and put it into your overall budget. But you'd pay them minimum wage. I know some clubs, they'll try to maybe give memberships and things like that. So it's whatever that your local laws will allow you to do. But essentially, you're going to pay them minimum wage to attend this training. Okay. Now, here's what's going to happen. It's going to be a 4-day session, and it's roughly going to be Monday through Thursday. Let's just say it's going to be from 10 to 2. Maybe it's 10 to 3, whatever length of time it's going to take for you to do this. But what's going to happen is these folks are going to show up for training. And what's going to happen here is during this training, they're going to weed you out, number one. Okay. And I'm sure everybody listening to this right now, I'm sure you've had people that you've hired, you thought were going to be good, and they got in there and they found out, wow, this isn't for me, and they quit showing up. Or you find out that, man, that was a bad choice. And you have to let them go. Okay. And so what we want to eliminate is those people, because the idea here is you want this to be a good fit for the person, and we want it to be a good fit for you, but you don't want to find this out on the job. You want to find this out in advance. Okay. So as training is going along, they're going to weed you out. They might weed you out that first day. They might decide, man, this was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. Or you look at them and, maybe they just don't, have what you're looking for, for that particular club. Okay. So they're going to weed you out, and this will happen throughout the process. You might even have someone that you really like that decides to quit showing up. But the truth is, you'd rather know that right now than, 2 or 3 weeks into it when they're inside that club. Okay. You want people that are long term, because the one thing you can't train, is time in the saddle. So we want these folks in here. Now, the other thing that's going to happen is you're going to weed some of these folks out. After the first day, you might notice, well, hey, we liked them when we interviewed them, not so much now. They really don't have what we're looking for. Or, 2 or 3 days into it, maybe they're not showing the commitment on some of the things that you need. So you start to weed them out. Okay, they're not learning the material. So what's happening here now is that you're paring this thing down. So now, you're down to, maybe 4 to 5, qualified and trained candidates. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, some are not showing up. You're pushing some others out. And the thing is, even if they're all showing up, you're going to have to, let some other folks know that, that you're moving in a different direction. Okay. Now, during this 4 days, okay, they're going to be trained and tested on everything they need to know to be successful in club sales. Okay. So when they start in your club, they are ready. That manager doesn't have to be concerned about, doing this or doing this or doing this. They are ready to go. And that salesperson just starting, they don't have to worry about, being unsure of themselves. They don't have to worry about having egg on their face. Okay. And you're going to lessen the likelihood. And actually, we don't even see it at all anymore. You're going to, lessen that likelihood of that person quitting in 2 weeks. Okay. But they're going to know how to do this. Okay. They are ready to go. When we've had people that jump into clubs and they're making 2 or 3 sales that first day, because, during that training, we've gone through, here's how you greet the guest. Here's how you use the needs analysis. Here's how you find out that super objective or that powerful why that they're looking for. Here's how you give a tour. Here's how you give a membership presentation. Here's how you overcome objections. Here's how you get referrals. Here's how you book appointments. Here's how you make an outbound call. All of this is covered, during this 4-day training. Okay. So now they're ready. There's no ramp up. And I'll tell you what, you go in there, you bring in 2 top producers like that, 2 people that come out of training with good attitudes and are ready to roll. You'll be surprised how quick your sales will come up. Okay. Now, let's just say out of this whole group, you end up selecting, say, 3 out of 5 qualified folks. 3 or 5 folks that are qualified and they're trained. Okay. Here's the benefit to this. Okay, is that you're going to select these 3 or 4 that are trained that are going to go to work for you. You might have 2 or 3 that you simply say, hey, we don't have an opportunity for you just yet. Okay. And so, you have to pass on them. But here's the beauty is if you did lose somebody, okay, if you did lose somebody during this process, now you can call these other folks back up and say, hey, we've had an opening. We would like to bring you on board. And if they're available, you're going to be able to hire a person that's been through your training. So you totally get away from this on-the-job training and having them, try to learn it on the fly, because not only does it hurt them, it hurts you. You're losing lots of money as a club owner, as a manager. You're losing a lot of money, doing it this way. Okay. Now, here's the other thing to remember. Okay, is when you're doing this, you have to let go of staff. So say you've got a club, you've got 4 salespeople, you've got 2 of them just aren't producing. They're not hitting their numbers. You're going to have to let those 2 go, and they're going to replace them with these 2. Okay. Don't make the mistake of just adding on to your staff. Now, if you have multiples, you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clubs, perhaps. whoever that weak club is, the club that's struggling the most, we kind of go in reverse order. It's kind of like the NFL draft. Okay, whoever that weakest club is, that manager gets first choice in all of this. Okay, they get to pick who they want. So the very best people coming out of training are going to go to that club that needs it the most. Okay, now the other thing that happens as a result of this, because you like to, whether you as the owner are doing it, whether you bring in outside help to do it, both those are good things to do. One of the key things is you want to make sure your managers participate in this. Okay, all club managers, if they're really good at teaching how to give a tour, they're really good at how to teach sales, overcoming objections, whatever it is. Have your managers involved, because not only does this give them a chance to evaluate these folks, okay, and see who they like, because one manager looks at one person one way and another person the other, depending on the balance that they might have with them. So they get a chance to evaluate and see who they want to be on their team. But also, this is a great way to help teach your managers how to train. It's a great way to help teach your managers, how to teach other people. Because most people that are managers in this industry, they became managers because they were good in sales. That doesn't necessarily mean they're good managers, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're good as a sales trainer. And so getting them in the habit of training, get them in the habit of teaching will help them in this process. And this can, in part, you as an owner or however you're choosing to do it, this can be one of the missions as well, not only develop, new staff that's coming in, but also help to develop and train the managers. Because ultimately, really what you want that manager to do is to duplicate themselves. But we have to create that system. We have to create that environment that will allow them to do that. Okay. What you don't want to do is become so dependent upon one person that one person leaves. Now you're in trouble. You want to create depth in your staff. Okay. So that's our tips for today. My name is Jim Thomas, Fitness Management. We'll look forward to talking with you next time.